All right, good morning, everyone. For those that are on the phone, welcome to the Nebraska State Highway Commission and District 2 program hearing. We'll get started here. For those of you that are panelists, please remember that you have control over your mute and unmute. So if you're not speaking, please mute your line so we can avoid any echoing. Those that are attending the meeting, if you want to comment during the public comment section, please raise your hand or use the chat box in the lower right-hand corner so that I can communicate with you that way and unmute your line for you. Jerome, if you are ready, we will get started.
Okay, welcome everyone. It is 8:32. We'll call the meeting to order. Sarah, for the record, would you please take roll?
Yes, for the record, the State Highway Commission is assembled virtually this morning. The date is Friday, March 26, 2021, and the time is 8:32 a.m. Commissioner Koppel. Commissioner Koppel?
You hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Grinsky.
Here.
Commissioner Leafgreen.
Here.
Commissioner Fagerland.
Here.
Commissioner Hawks. Commissioner Hawks. If I see him on, I think he's just having trouble with talking. Oh, he's chatting, he can hear us. Okay. Commissioner Wolford is absent this morning. Commissioner Gertis.
Here.
And Commissioner Kindig. Commissioner Kindig?
Here.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, the next order of business is to approve the January 22nd meeting minutes. Sarah, please call the question.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, Commissioner Koppel,
Yes.
Commissioner Grinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Leafgreen,
Yes.
Commissioner Fagerland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hawks, Commissioner Hawks,
I did, but it didn't.
Commissioner Gertis,
Okay.
Yes.
and Commissioner Kindig.
Yes.
All right, approved.
Safe.
Hey, Sarah, I voted yes. I can't get the sound. Can you hear me, Sarah?
I could hear her.
We can hear you, Jim.
Sarah, you're muted.
Sarah's muted.
Yep, I'll work with him on that. We'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, are there any introductions or announcements?
I have none.
Okay, then let's move on to the meeting business. I'd like to introduce our new director, John Selmer. And John, we'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, and thank you all, commissioners. Really excited about this first meeting and being able to hopefully in the future get to meet you personally, face to face. Videos are my best interface in which to work through, and I see we're all struggling a little bit with that, and would rather be together. I'm glad to be here in Nebraska. I know I was announced about a month before I even came, so a lot of things were happening for me at that time, and I'm sure within the agency. I've been here 2 weeks now. Been drinking from the proverbial fire hose, so coming up for a breath of air here with this meeting, and I'll just take a little time to maybe give a little bit about my background and also state maybe some ideas I have in terms of what I feel my role is within the agency and some of the activities I want to focus on during my tenure with the department. For myself, I'm a degreed engineer in civil engineering. I'm actually from Nebraska, so even though I've been working in Iowa for over 31 years or so, I grew up in the Bellevue area. My father was in the military and was stationed at Offutt Air Force Base. So I went to elementary school there. Then I jumped across the ocean, lived in the Philippines for a while, then came back and completed, got my high school diploma from Bellevue High when it was just one school, and then went to UNO and got my civil engineering degree. At that point, I tried to work for the Nebraska Department of Roads at that time, but they didn't hire me. So part of this is payback. I'm coming back now after 30 years. I've joked with Tim Weander before. I go, when I was a district engineer in the Council Bluffs area, we would go back and forth and good spirits. We were challenging each other, and I go, you guys could have hired me, put me in a closet, and you wouldn't have to hear from me again. But they didn't do that. So I'm back. I'm glad to be back. I have a good working relationship with a lot of individuals within the agency, and am very excited about working with the department and yourselves. My 30 years in Iowa started out in maintenance as a resident maintenance engineer around the Atlantic area in Iowa for about 5 years, and went into the Central Complex in Ames, Iowa, and was responsible for our pavement rehabilitation program statewide. Was there for about 5 years, and went back out and became the district engineer in Southwest Iowa. And had several major projects there, one of which, if you've driven through Council Bluffs, was the creation and the start of the Council Bluffs Interstate Reconstruction. You can also blame me probably as one of the instigators for the artwork, Edward Scissorhands. So if you ever want to have some detailed discussion on that, I can give you a lot of the backstory on that one. Worked on the Veterans Memorial Bridge, US 34 bridge between Bellevue and Plattsmouth. So a lot of experience in terms of development and partnership with different resource agencies and communities. From there, I went back into Ames, and essentially my last tenure there was really working on organizational issues such as performance management, strategic planning, leadership development, business analytics, preparing the agency for really, I think, the transformation that we're seeing within transportation, from maybe being that traditional construction company up to now looking at mobility as a service, optimizing the use of the transportation system, really looking at the data and the information that we provide users so that they get the service they expect and the convenience that they desire also. So that was kind of my background, and this opportunity opened here, and I've always thought when I would retire from Iowa, I would come back. I have family that still lives in Bellevue, and I plan on living right now for a while, at least in southwest Omaha and the Papio area, and we'll see where this goes. For my focus, some of the key areas, I have about 5 key areas. Number 1 is partnership and collaboration. I think we're proud organizations, DOTs throughout the country, but we really need strong partnerships, whether it's with industry, the commission, the legislature, the public, our municipalities, our counties, our construction industry, our resource agencies, and FHWA, and all those that I found in working in the Council Bluffs Interstate Reconstruction, that strong partnerships and collaboration really grease the skids and allow you to progress and I think even strengthen relationships, and where you all feel very good about what you've accomplished. Another focus is just customer experience, much more than service, but the whole customer journey and the expectations of our customer. And I don't like our customers being surprised. So how can we give people much more information such that they can use our transportation system effectively? I look at organizational leadership and how can we strengthen the leadership within an organization and start driving decision-making lower within the organization, awareness, acknowledgement, and alignment. So I always look at, I believe a leader to call yourself a leader, you need to create leaders, and you actually need to make yourself replaceable. Another area that's tied with that is just employee engagement. We're going through a lot of transformation. We've all heard about the agricultural age, the industrial age, going into the digital age, and now what they're speaking of is really the knowledge age, in which we really need to leverage and use the talents that we have within our organization because of the challenges we're facing in the future. And then the last item that I have really in there is safety, and it's not the least item, but we want everyone within our organization to go home safe every day, along with the public that utilizes our system. And that's going to be a core value, core driver for us. With that, I'll take a little break. If you want to ask some questions, I can give brief updates that we have. Maybe one thing I want to share is I really want to thank our staff for last week and their effort, and our people out in the Western Panhandle area due to the winter storm, and also we've got accolades and thanks from the state of Wyoming and our assistance to them, and quickly being able to open up the system in the hours and the time our people spent away from their family doing that. They really did an excellent job. So I'll go ahead and take a breath there and see if you have any questions of me.
Are there any questions for John?
All right, you're taking it easy on me today. All right, I expect that to change in the future.
John, on behalf of the commissioners, I'd like to welcome you, and I know each of us look forward to working with you, and we're excited about new things you may bring to us. So we're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Alec Gronditsky, I hope I didn't massacre that too bad. I know you'd like to have a few words with the group, so I'll turn it over to you.
It was just fine. It was just fine. Thank you. First off, Director Selmer, welcome. Welcome back to Nebraska. And welcome to District 2. Makes you one of my constituents. So, feel free to reach out to Tim or myself if you have any needs related to transportation in this district.
I sure will do that.
Yeah. And also, I always blamed Pete Tulipana for the art over in Council Bluffs. But I can give you a hard time about that. Although I like the art. I appreciate the art. Just by the mere fact that you mentioned it, and we all knew exactly what you were talking about. So it's a pretty neat piece. So you should be proud of that. Fellow commissioners, welcome to Omaha, so to speak, or District 2, excuse me, so to speak. I wish we were all together, but unfortunately that's not a reality today, but soon enough. You're going to hear a lot from Tim here in a little bit. I looked ahead at his presentation, and he's going to talk to you a lot about some of the unique dynamics in District 2 here. We're a body that represents constituents and public's interest in transportation and roads and highways. I'll just make this comment that is, I think, just additive and not duplicative of anything that Tim's going to say. And we have a lot of constituents, and we have a lot of voices, and we have a lot of perspective and opinions on transportation in District 2. And that's not to say it's a bad thing by any means. I think it's welcome. It's part of democracy, I think. But it makes, I'm certain, Tim's job complex, and to some extent my job, I suppose. That Tim and I both find ourselves in a handful of active conversations with a number of very active stakeholder groups in the dynamic of transportation, be it the Chamber of Commerce, a number of nonprofit organizations who exist for, in some cases, a sole purpose, or even maybe a secondary or tertiary purpose related to transportation, or maybe even just a loosely affiliated group of citizens that care a lot about transportation because of what it offers in terms of equity and equality, in terms of mobility, in terms of safety, in terms of economic development. So it's a unique challenge that we have here, certainly, with a lot of constituent perspective, and I welcome that, certainly. So anyway, welcome to District 2, or the District 2 public hearing, and look forward to hearing from Tim a little bit more.
Thank you, Alec. From here, we'll move on to Tim Weander, the district manager for District 2. Tim?
Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, Director Selmer. Good morning and welcome to District 2's virtual program meeting. I wish we were all together in one room where we could converse a little better. This is always difficult via the computerized system, but we'll get through it. I always like to give and take when we have an in-person meeting because we always have a lot of questions and comments. So hopefully this will work out very well. I do want to echo some of the things Director Selmer said that not so much echo, but I guess welcome him to Nebraska. We're very excited to have John back in Nebraska. John and I had a very good working relationship when he was across the river, and we saw a lot of things eye to eye. I don't think we ever argued. We probably did, but I think it's a great thing for Nebraska to get John's input back into Nebraska from what Iowa DOT does and his experience that he has from another state. To bring those to Nebraska, and we want to learn and we want to grow as an organization. So thanks, John, for coming back. I do appreciate it. Before I get started, I want to do some introductions from my staff that make this district run. I'm a very small part of what we do here. These people make the day-to-day operations work. They make us a great district. The response we do for the public, the service we provide is all due to them. And so with that, I want to introduce construction engineer Marv Leach, assistant construction engineer Morris Hinchy, our operations and maintenance manager Tom Raniger, our administrative assistant Natalie Clark, and our project delivery engineer Barb Garbino Bevins. All work with me, and without them, we would not have a district that operates as it does. So thank you for what they do. Thank you for what they do for me, what they do for the citizens of the state, and also for District 2. So thank you all to all of them. As I approach this year's meeting, it's going to be an extended program that I'm going to present to you, and it's partly because we have a new director and we have some new highway commissioners. So I want to go back to basics and tell you what we do in District 2, why we do what we do, and maybe why we're a little bit different from the districts you represent, because we are special. I look at it as a special district, and it's going to be extended. So I apologize in advance for the length of this presentation, but please bear with me. So I ask for your patience. So Sarah, next slide. Okay, so I want to start off with the vital statistics for District 2. We are the smallest geographical sized district in the entire state. We have 4.5 counties of Dodge, Washington, Douglas, Sarpy, and the north half of Cass County. We do have the largest population in 2019 numbers. 2020 are not out yet, but District 2 itself, the 4.5 counties are the best of my knowledge of the 4.5, taking into account what Cass County has in our district, is over 830,000 people. Metropolitan area, if we just consider Douglas, Sarpy, and Pottawatomie County in Iowa, is 819,000 people. We have the largest traffic volumes. For instance, on I-80, we have 51,000 vehicles crossing the Platte River every day. At 60th Street, we have 882,000 vehicles. And at the Missouri River, we're at 71,000 vehicles. We have the smallest system mileage of any district at 1,899 lane miles. Of these, 1,040 lane miles are freeway, interstate, or rural expressway, which is 55% of our system. We have 428 bridges, which is the fourth highest, and we have 6 Missouri River bridges. We have 188 employees, which is the fourth largest of any of the districts, and we have the largest state and federal representation with 22 out of 49 state senators and 2 congressional districts, District 1 and District 2 represented. We also operate a traffic management center, and we perform a spring press conference every year to kick off the construction season, where we explain the projects that have the greatest effect on the travelers, and that's scheduled actually for next Thursday on April 1st. We also have the highest Ndot turnover rate between any division or district. I'm not proud of that. It's nothing that that is good for the district, but this is one of the things we have to deal with. We have a 5-year average of 21.6% turnover, with it currently in 2021, we're at 16%. Next slide, sir. Yeah, segue into that, our HR division does an exit interview, and this is the data from 2020, and 66% of these responses are from the districts. So the top 3 reasons that people leave us are for career change, wages, or opportunity for advancement. And in the wages, people can leave us from frontline workers and get an average of 21% increase in wage. So that's quite an incentive for people to maybe jump ship. The top new employers that they go to are private consultants or contractors, local government or cities or counties, or other state agencies. The high markers, which looks well for DOT, is that they're extremely satisfied with their supervisor relationships, with their work hours, and with their overall work experience. What we do as a DOT, we provide high levels of training, including commercial driver's license training and the ability to get that license, which provides our personnel with very marketable skills in the work environment. The area wages are very competitive, with NDOT typically having the lowest wages compared to other public entities in the private sector, and with possible less duties. And so, for an example, our construction techs who have to plow snow and have a CDL can go elsewhere. They can go to, necessarily have to use their CDL, but they can go to another local agency, local government agency, do the same work and not have to plow snow, which is enticing if you're really working hard during the summer months, putting in a lot of overtime hours, and then expect a little time to think in the winter months and not have to hit it hard again. So that's kind of an enticement for our construction techs. Next slide. Some of the unique maintenance activities we perform. We do have 2 Metro Freeway night crews along with daytime crews. We split our crews up. The 2 crews that work nights work from April through October. They work 4 10-hour days or 4 10-hour nights from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. And they're working on the freeway system. The only time we can get out there based on traffic is when traffic is reduced. So we do a lot of the patching, a lot of the shoulder work, anything that's really needed on that those major capacity segments can only be done at night. So it's very important. Freeway cleaning, where we have 2 litter and magnet vehicles and 2 sweeper vacuum vehicles that traverse the Metro Freeway constantly. We have an emergency response incident management team, which is a supervisor and 4-person crew who are on call 24/7. And these members do not include our night crew members. So these are the people that work the daytimes. We rotate them through these teams so that we always have somebody able to get out there, excuse me, as needed and deal with incidents or emergencies. We have a traffic incident management group. This is a standing committee with representatives from both Nebraska and Iowa, consisting of the DOTs, the cities, the counties, the emergency responders, law enforcement, and tow industry representatives. They meet regularly to discuss incidents and work to improve incident response and reduce clearance times. And sidelight to this was John and I were both involved with the development of this, trying to get, we did river to be a seam between us. We wanted a seamless transportation system between Omaha and Council Bluffs, or Nebraska and Iowa, that we were able to handle the traffic on the corridors we share without having too many concerns. Our winter operations are also different. The entire district is 24/7 with snow control operations. We split shift and put 163 maintenance and construction personnel to staff their snow control. We also put all these people on call for forecasted snow events. We have 19 tow plows, and with 2 more in the future for the expansions of US 30, US 34, US 77, and US 275 coming on in the future. Next slide. Okay, this is a map of our district offices in the district. The 2 yellow stars are construction and maintenance offices. Everything else is a maintenance office. Our District 2 headquarters is in Omaha, and it consists of the district office, project manager, maintenance superintendent staffs, and the traffic management center. In the Fremont area, we have a project manager and maintenance superintendent staffs. In Elkhorn, which is just there where it says Boys Town, just to the left of Boys Town, that's our Elkhorn yard. We have maintenance superintendent, district mechanic, striping supervisor staffs, and all other yards are maintenance supervisor staffs. I do have a COVID experience here. As COVID affected our personnel, we moved our snowplows operators throughout the district to fill in where they were needed or where there were gaps. We have a prime example from the February snowstorm of this year. We lost the entire 7-person crew in Blair, in the Blair yard, plus snowplows. That means snowplows to COVID-19 just prior to this 12-inch event. Our Blair yard serves a specific area, as you can see. It's got a spider web of highways that come in and out of Blair, including Highway 30 that goes across the Missouri River into Iowa. Based on our forecasting services, our operations manager, Tom Reniger, and his staff were able to provide the needs, to plan the needs, shift personnel, and change routes accordingly to keep all the highways open and not sacrifice the public safety on these routes. Based on the planning effort and the efforts of our dedicated operators, our level of service on these highways was not affected, and the public never realized the issues we faced heading into or during the storm event. So I can't say enough about the personnel we have, the dedication they have. They understand the work we need to accomplish. They understand why we have to go 24/7, and they go above and beyond in order to make the traveling public safe in their daily commutes or in their operations. And I can't say enough about them. They're dedicated, hardworking, and they are my heroes. And I can't say enough. Next slide, Sarah. So these are 4 of my heroes. This is Brian Cottage, Patrick Dukes, Jay Parch, and Mike Harrod. And these guys just represent the entire district. This is our billboard that we have on I-80 at 72nd Street in the eastbound direction. Over 174,000 vehicles a day see these people every day. And we want to just instill in the public that we're out there, we are individuals in these snowplows. The snowplows are not just a machine. They are operated by a person, and we want to let them know their safe travel is our business. So thank you to those 4 representatives of our entire district. Next slide. We have major events in Omaha every year as far as bring in a lot of traffic, a lot of people that want to attend these individual events. This year's events include the NCAA College Volleyball Championship in April, the U.S. Olympic Swim Trials, which is 2 events in June, the NCAA College World Series, which is also in June, and then the PGA U.S. Senior Open, which will occur in July. Because of these events, we must manage the maintenance and construction activities in our projects with lane closures and plan accordingly so that we can allow this additional traffic in the metro to get through. Next slide. This is a cover of the District 2 Traffic and Maintenance Management Center 2020 report. It was put together by our manager, Jennifer Hendrick. This covers everything we did last year. I think you have that in your packet, or at least hopefully Sarah sent this packet to you so that you can see it. If you have the chance, please read it. It gives you the final statistics for the district and what and why we do what we need to do for the Omaha metro area. Next slide. Our Traffic Management Center's purpose is to provide freeway management and incident management on 84 centerline miles of interstate and freeways in the metro area. Incident management is the necessary actions needed to manage the immediate effective traffic, open the roadway quickly, and reduce secondary incidents until traffic is returned to free flow. We do this with 4 personnel within the Traffic Management Center, including our center manager, Jennifer Hendrick, and 3 operators. Originally, the TMC was co-occupied by the NDOT and the Nebraska State Patrol dispatchers, and we were able to do 24/7 with the NSP being in there 100% of the time. Unfortunately, the NSP dispatch has now moved to its new state office in Lincoln, and so now we're the only people inside the center itself. We now operate Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. through 7 p.m. to cover the peak hour travel with our personnel. And then these people are also on call after hours for incidents. During storm events or as needed for nighttime operations, we're also in there for 24/7 for that time period. We do provide real-time messages, and they're reported via 511 Twitter, and our account is at Ndot Omaha, also via dynamic message signs and press releases. We're a clearinghouse also for the statewide traffic signal system. It's a one-call shop. Every traffic signal in the state of Nebraska on the state highway system has an 800 number that goes directly to our center. We take those calls and we then distribute those to the necessary district for to handle those concerns that are reported on that individual traffic signal. They also manage the Code Red system, which is District 2's automated winter operations and incident response call-out system, which is very important. One call, we don't have to sit there and make every supervisor has to make a call to every individual that they have. This is done by the system, and everybody gets the same message at the same time. Very important for whom we have people on call. Next slide. This slide is just a snapshot of the ITS devices or Intelligent Transportation System devices that are within the Omaha Metro. District-wide, our numbers are, we have 73 closed-circuit television cameras, which are CCTVs. We have 29 dynamic message signs, which are DMS. We have 41 portable dynamic message signs. We can move them around accordingly to wherever we have specific concerns to handle traffic. We have 5 road weather information signs, which are that RWIS. We have 4 electronic ramp gates and 1 rest area kiosk. So that's those slides represent the background of our operations. We're now going to work on the construction program. So Sarah, slide please. This is a map of District 2 and the highway projects that we have currently for carryover projects from 2020. Those are shown in green. In 2021 are the projects that are new for this year. First project I want to talk about is the, I don't have a cursor, but since I'm not controlling this, but it's Highway 30 from North Bend into Fremont. Actually, it's Rogers to Fremont and Dodge County. So next slide, Sarah. Yeah, this slide is an aerial, Google aerial showing that location. Rogers is off to the left. That's Highway 30. This location is the corner of 3 districts. To the left or west is District 3. That is Colfax County, and that Rogers is in Colfax County. District 2 is to the north, everything north of the Platte, which is Dodge County, and District 1 is everything south of the Platte River, which is Saunders County. New alignment that you see, 30 is constructed as a 4-lane from Rogers over to where you see a split where it says that T. Sarah, can you run a cursor at all for me? I don't know if you can do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Whoops, hold on.
What back? Okay. Never mind. Where that T is at on Highway 30, there's a split there where we go on new alignment with US 30 north of North Bend. And that work is all completed. You can see this on the aerial. All 4 lanes are completed. We have not shifted traffic, but all 4 lanes are completed. And the yellow segment that goes east at that point off 79 is yet to be constructed this summer. This project was 10 miles long, $56 million worth of work, just over that. It was led in 2018 and was scheduled to be completed in the spring of 2020. However, the 2019 flood affected the project, and we're now scheduled for July 2021 completion this summer. What we're working on now is we're hoping to open the westbound lanes from 79 over to 30, so that north on 79 here is the town of Snyder. So any traffic coming from direction that wants to go to Columbus can come down to that new intersection on 30 and go west immediately on the new alignment and proceed unimpeded to Columbus. Traffic in the eastbound direction, we're going to keep on old 30 or existing 30 all the way into Fremont. And have a stop condition at the new 79 and 30 intersection. But traffic, if they want to go to Snyder and not have to go through North Bend, can get on the new alignment either at just to the east of the T, there are 3 county roads, 4, 5, and 6, or 5, 6, and 7, excuse me, that they can travel the county road system and go north if they want to get on the eastbound direction of New 30. Otherwise, they can stay on 30 and go through North Bend. That's what we're planning on doing soon this spring. The Orange Project is North Bend to Fremont, and it's a almost 11-mile project worth $19 million. It is a grading and culverts have been let for that. The starting date will be April of this year, with July of 22 as a completion. This fall, we will also let the next segment of that, which is the Fremont, North Bend to Fremont paving and bridges. Again, the same length, but it's a $57.5 million project. Letting will be this fall, as I said, with winter start further on the bridges, and with possible completion in 2024. Now we're starting to look at how maybe to get traffic over on those new lanes sooner than that. We're going to work with our contract and hopefully be able to open 2 lanes on the entire segment, shift the traffic off of existing 30, move it up to the new alignment, and then that will allow us to do another project, which is not highlighted here, but it's from the split there, left of North Bend or west of North Bend. That's 19 miles worth of pavement that needs to be resurfaced, brought up to speed, along with some bridge work. A couple of those bridges require extensive work, and that's a $5.5 million project. And we'll do that before we give that entire segment over to North Bend, Fremont, and Dodge County as relinquishment. Also shown in the lower right corner is the Fremont Southeast Beltway project. This is a new 4-lane expressway connecting US 77 to US 275. It's just over 3 miles in length, $75 million worth of work. It started the summer of 2020 and will be completed the summer of 2023. Fremont and partners also had a cost share of $30 million out of that 75. So very happy with their participation and their involvement in this project. As you see, when all these projects are completed, there will be no state highways through Fremont proper. US 77 currently goes straight through Fremont, and it will now go on the new bypass and around Fremont, around the Beltway. Next slide, Sarah. Yeah, this is just the photo of the display we took to the public to explain the Southeast Beltway, Fremont Southeast Beltway. There's a new state spur on the left side. As you travel, that's Platte River on the southwest corner. You pass across Platte River and extend to the north and east, and then eastward over to Highway 275, where there's a new interchange with US 275, since that's a freeway system. There'll be 4 roundabouts, 1 roundabout at the intersection of 77 and the connector back into Inglewood and Fremont. That connector will have to be a state spur until we tie on to Inglewood, which is at the north end of that green that you see there. Another roundabout at Downing about halfway through the project. And that connects into South Fremont and also the Costco chicken plant. And then there's 2 railroad viaducts over the Burlington Northern and also over the Union Pacific. And then 2 more roundabouts at the new interchange at the ramp terminals. Next slide, sir. Okay, we'll go back to the program map, and clear at the north end, up by Schneider, up by Scribner, is an orange designation, and that's the new US 275 Scribner North project. It's expansion of the 4-lane expressway through North Bend, or West Point. There are 2 more projects that are in District 3 that get you up to West Point and also through West Point. This has a spring letting on this project, or all 3 of these projects. This particular one is 4.5 miles long, $30 million worth of work. It should start this summer with completion in summer of 2024. Next project is over around Blair, from Blair to Herman, on US 275 or on US 75. It's a 10-mile project, just over $11 million worth of work. Has already started and should be completed in fall of 2022 because of bridges and resurfacing. There's a project by Waterloo and Venice on West Dodge Road. That's actually L28B connecting US 275 with Highway 6. It's new pavement, bridge approaches, and a bridge repair. The westbound Skyline interchange will be affected by this work, where we will have to close the off-ramp for westbound pavement replacement. It's a 1 mile project, about $3.5 million worth of work, which will start this summer and be completed this fall. On I-80, we have a project from Highway 66, which is just south of the Platte River that's not shown, that's in District 1, all the way over to Highway 50. It's a 16.5 mile project to complete pavement repair and joint sealing. It's $4.5 million worth of work. It's gonna start this spring and be completed this fall. It'll all be done at night, where the contractor will be limited to 2 mile work and lane closure on any individual segment on that stretch. Next project as we move into Omaha is on I-680. So between the where it says Boys Town and Omaha, there's an orange stripe that goes north. That's I-80, 680, I-680, I-80 to Fort Street. It's a pavement repair and a joint sealing project. It's almost 6 miles long, $6 million worth of work. We'll start this spring and be completed this fall. That will all be done at night, so we will not affect commuters. The next project is right under the word Omaha there on I-80. That's I-84 to Little Papio Creek. This project will affect most of the traffic in Omaha this year. And Sarah, if you'd go to the next slide. Okay, so what we're seeing here, this project basically consists of 3 different bridges, 3 sets of bridges, both eastbound and westbound, 84th Street, the Big Papio Creek and Little Papio Creek. Little Papio Creek is between the interchanges of 72nd and 60th. Total length of this is 2 miles. We're going to affect traffic, just over $10 million worth of work. It'll start this summer and be completed in the spring of 2022. There are 174,000 vehicles per day at the 84th Street, and there are 182,000 vehicles a day at the Little Papio Creek. We do have the Olympic swim trials and College World Series specification in here where no work can occur between June 11th and July 5th. The 2 west bridges, the 84th and the Big Papio, we are replacing the approach slabs. And so due to that, we have to phase construction and move traffic around. The east bridge, the Little Papio Creek, is just deck repairs, so that work can all be done at night. And we will allow the contractor to work in the eastbound direction during the Olympic swim trials and College World Series break, because at night, there shouldn't be major traffic movements in that direction with those 2 events. Next slide, Sarah. Yeah, this is a close-up view, just what the 84th and the Big Papio Creek is going to entail. In order to do this work, we're going to have to put traffic head-to-head in the eastbound lanes. This will affect traffic. This will affect some queuing, or create some queuing, because we have 4 lanes in each direction. We'll reduce that to 3 lanes, which is going to cause some backups, but will allow us to do the deck repair in the westbound lanes for both bridges and replace the approach slabs. We do have to close the ramps as shown. This is 50, you're actually seeing phase 2 here. Phase 1 was to get the crossovers in and get this traffic head to head. This phase is 50 calendar days to complete this work. And then as soon as this phase is completed, we'll shift traffic, the westbound traffic, back over to those existing westbound lanes and open up the ramps in the westbound direction. Eastbound is still going to be affected during the next 2 phases. We'll work on the inside bridges in the eastbound direction, then shift traffic to the inside lanes and work on the outside. So our entire package here, we're hoping to have completed by Thanksgiving of this fall. The anticipated closure for the eastbound ramps is 115 calendar days based on all the phases of construction. And then the asphalt overlays to complete the work should happen spring of 2022. We are setting this contract up with incentives and disincentives. We have a maximum incentive of $180,000 for the contractor if he meets the days before the Thanksgiving of this year. And there is also disincentives on this individual phase, since we're affecting both directions, will be $70,000 per day. Once we get traffic shifted for the remaining phases, that's cut in half, because we're only dealing with one direction of traffic, which would be $35,000 a day for a disincentive. Next slide. Okay, just east of this project on I-80, just where it says to the right of where it says Omaha in the green, is the carryover project from last year where we were working on the eastbound bridges, 4 eastbound bridges, 50th Street, 42nd, 34th Street, and I-480 or I-80 over 480. A bridge repair project with an asphalt overlay. This one affected a lot of traffic last year because we reduced the mainline lanes from 5 lanes down to 3 lanes, which was going to cause tremendous queuing on the interstate system, about 2 miles plus. And fortunately and unfortunately, COVID-19 hit us, which affected traffic tremendously, but also helped with this project where we didn't impact that much traffic because we lost about 40% of the traffic load because of COVID concerns and people not commuting. So this allowed us to do this project with minimal comparatively effects to the traffic. This project will be completed this summer. Actually, before this spring, we still have the asphalt overlays to do on 50th Street Bridge and 42nd Street Bridge, and that'll be done at night. Just straight to the north of there in the downtown area is I-480 and US 75. We have 2 projects in that location. One is the interchange with the 75 and 480. We have bridge repair and asphalt overlay. And then as you head toward the river, from 20th Street to the Missouri River, we have a bridge repair, also replacing bearing devices, expansion joints, and doing an asphalt overlay. Next slide, Sarah. Okay, so this is an aerial of these 2 projects. Just to give you your bearings, you can see 480 at the bottom of the screen. That comes up into the downtown area and then travels to the east over the Missouri River into Council Bluffs, Iowa. Just on to the right is the Missouri River, so you see the I-480 bridge, and then just north of there is a pedestrian bridge. Left of that location is TD Ameritrade Park baseball for College World Series, and also the CHI Center is south and east of that location, north of 480. Highway 64 comes in on the left side of the screen and ties into Highway 75, and that's the termination of Highway 64 on Cumming Street. 75 proceeds north off this interchange into the North Freeway, and then US 6 comes into downtown as a one-way pair, eastbound on Douglas and westbound on Dodge Street. So the first project is over on the left side, the 75 Craton area bridges. There are 11 bridges that will be worked on. $4 million worth of work will start in July of this year and should be completed by fall of this year. This will have night work with extensive phasing, but we shouldn't have anything specifically closed. It'll all be, every one of these bridges will be open. The other project, the major project, is I-480, the 20th Street to the Missouri River, just over 1 mile in length. It's $44 million worth of work. It's already started this spring. It started in March, and it will not be completed until spring of 23. This one has extensive phasing with 30-day closures on I-480 in each direction to replace the approach slabs and repair the abutment at 20th Street, which is the western end of the project there. There was also extensive ramp closures necessary for construction. The 20th Street off-ramp, which is right off that eastern end that goes into downtown Omaha, will be closed for 30 days due to the mainline closure. 17th Street is the next ramp that goes westbound. I don't have the cursor, but it's right under the word bridges there where it says Craton area bridges. That ramp will close for 45 days to replace the pavement from the existing city street to the bridge. And 14th Street off ramp, which is just above where it says 20th Street to Missouri River. Those are the eastbound off ramp, and the eastbound on ramp will also be closed for 15 days each to repair those ramps. There's extensive coordination and phasing also required with the city of Omaha on the parking lot closures beneath 480. And then the biggest concern on this project and the biggest question mark on how long this will take is we do have to replace the bearing devices on this bridge. So it requires jacking the bridge off the piers at several locations via temporary shoring while traffic is on top of the bridge. So it's under live loading in order to replace these bearing devices. So that makes this project really complex to accomplish that. Next slide, Sarah. Okay, down on the, back to our program slide, down in the southeast quadrant by Plattsmouth, in the orange there, we have the next phase of the Nebraska City to Omaha Expressway system. This is US 34 Murray to Plattsmouth. It's a 4-lane expressway project. It's just over 7 miles long, $54 million worth of work. This was also assisted by a $20 million federal build grant. The project will start in July and be completed, scheduled for completion in fall of 2023. We will, really, it's a pretty simple project. We'll build the new northbound lanes to the east side of the existing lanes, shift traffic to those new lanes, rebuild the southbound lanes, and the project will be complete, but it does take 2 years to do that. South of here, south of Murray, the next segment is Union to Murray. Again, this is on the Nebraska City to Omaha Expressway system. That we'll have two segments left to complete that system. Union to Murray is just over 7 miles long. That's in District 2. And then south of here in District 1 is Nebraska City to Union, which is 10 miles long. We do have one project right there at Murray. It's shown in green. It's a carryover project. It's Murray. It's Highway 1, Murray to US 3475. It's a mile long, $13 million worth of work. It was new pavement with a new viaduct and MSC walls, mechanically stabilized earth walls. It started in fall of 19. It should have been completed in fall of 20. However, there were some concerns and some issues with starting the bridge over the top of the railroad track there. So now it will not be completed until fall of 21. So we are in the last phase. Next slide, sir. So with all this work going on, how do we tell the public what is happening and how do we let them know that they may be impacted? So this is our website. Our website is this web page. It's called Moving the Metro. We used to put this out in a flyer in the Omaha World Herald every spring. And we explained all the projects. We'd have a map in there, and there's a one-time shot. If you got the World Herald, you got the flyer, which was typically 8 to 10 pages. The cost on that is prohibitive, and not everyone gets a paper anymore. So thank you to Communications Division for putting this together and putting this as a reality on our website. This is an interactive, this is just a screenshot, but it's an interactive website. It gives you, that lists all the projects that are in the metro area that are DOTs, the city of Omaha's, and Douglas Sarpy counties. And you can, on the map there to the right, you can scan, you can zoom in, you can do whatever you want. You can click on any one of those icons and it'll pop up the project page and tell you about the project, or you can go to the bottom of the screen where we have the photos of the projects, and you can click on those maps, those photos also. What this tells the traveler is what the construction is, what the construction is occurring, how their commute may be affected, and who to contact with any questions if they have questions about it. So again, we're trying to show all the entities that are doing work in the metro area. Next slide, Sarah. I now want to concentrate on the future planning and needs of the district. This is a slide showing the expressway and rural multi-lane needs in the district. This map is based on the 1988 needs study for the expressway system and the 20-year forecasted average daily traffic of over 10,000. So the greens and the blues are the expressway system where they are either completed or planned or under construction. And the oranges and the reds are our primary system that have more than 10,000 vehicles per day, where we need to expand that, or it has been expanded to account for the traffic that is on that segment. Next slide, Sarah. This slide is the out of the Metro Area Travel Improvement Study proposed program. It's from Phase 3, Executive Summary, page 8, and this is on our website too if you want to see the entire study. This study was a comprehensive multimodal plan for the interstate and major roadways in the region to the year 2080. All of the expansion projects necessary to implement the recommended freeway concepts are assumed to be constructed prior to the year 2045 and are estimated to be $396 million in 2019 dollars and are shown on this slide. The total cost for the recommended system preservation projects to 2045 are also shown on this slide and estimated to be $464 million in 2019 dollars. The total estimated cost to 2045 for all this work is $860 million in 2019 dollars. And that can be broken down in this study. We further broke that down as from 2025 to 2030 as 157 million, 30 to 35 as 229 million, 35 to 40 as 261 million, and 40 to 45 as $213 million. The 35-year period, 2045 to 2080, is estimated to be $1.41 billion in 2019 dollars. Next phase, or next slide. This slide here shows the Build Nebraska and Transportation Innovation Act projects between 2024 and 2028. I've highlighted to the right in green boxes the projects that are in District 2. We have 5 construction projects were selected. I-680 4th Street to Irvington, which is expansion of the 4-lane to 6-lane for to handle the increased traffic load. US 6 192nd Street interchange is a new interchange based on the development that's occurring at that corridor and that segment of the corridor. US 75 Chandler Road northbound is to add capacity in the northbound direction. And that's in from I-480, or excuse me, I-80, 480, and 75 split going south to down to Chandler Road. US 77 Fremont Southeast Beltway, which is currently under construction, which we talked about. And US 275 Scribner Bypass to West Point, which we also talked about. In 3 of those projects, 3 of the 4 are in a letting of the spring. There are 5 design projects selected. Highway 50, Lewisville to Springfield, which is an expansion of the existing 2-lane to a 4-lane facility. Highway 92, U10 East Corridor is West Center Road, basically, that comes into Omaha as an expansion of that 2-lane to a 4-lane from U10 to Highway 6 and 31, where we currently have 4 lanes coming into Omaha. Highway 370, Gretna to Bellevue. There are 2 projects there to expand the existing 4-lane to a 6-lane facility. US 75, Nebraska City to Murray, which we talked about, which will complete the Nebraska City to Omaha Expressway system. There's 1 planning project that was selected, I-80, a new interchange at 192nd, between 192nd and 180th Street with Sarpy County as partners. Next slide. And we're back to our program meeting. This is a map. This is the last slide, and I apologize for the length of this presentation. Hope you found it somewhat interesting, and I'm done. Are there any questions at all for what I presented or anything else? Thank you.
Tim, I do have a question. The 2 projects on I-80 that are affecting the College World Series and so forth. Does that stall period add costs to the project, or is it built into the contractor's contract? Just explain a little bit what happens there.
Yeah, so what happens, Jerome, typically we have this on most any project within the metro. So it adds cost. We don't see that because it's set up that way. The contractors bid that contract accordingly because they know that they have a shutdown, but they have to find something for their people to do. So they may have 2 crews or 3 crews out there that are really busting it, trying to get this project completed. And then they hit a cutoff date. Now they can't work for about a month, 3 weeks to a month. What do they do with those people? So they either, or they're doing something to keep those people on staff. There are also mobilization efforts. You know, you get started up and then you have to shut down and then you start up again. So we don't see those costs specifically. It's just in the bid, how they bid the project, and they account for that in their unit prices.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Tim?
I have a few from, looks like Rebecca Patlin. The South Omaha fix, South Omaha does not want I-80 South 75 to F Street on ramps and off ramps closed, 42nd Street on and off ramps, and 60th Street on and off ramps closed. Is there any plans to close those, or are they remaining open?
My response would be if you, she can look at on our website has that study in it. there's an executive summary and the full study. It's phase 3. And the executive summary does state with both those, that's an opportunity to close both of those ramp interchanges. But again, that's something that can be discussed. We have not made any permanent decisions yet, but that's how the study approached it. And the study looked at complete bettering the operation of the freeway system. And I guess the easy answer is they're yet to be decided, and they'll be more public approach those decisions.
Okay, she did have another recommendation, building a Skyramp for the West Omaha Bottleneck, similar to what was done in Council Bluffs, and then also putting barriers up for homeowners as it's getting noisy along I-80. That was just a comment.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Okay, very good. I will say, when we go to expansion again, we do a noise analysis. We do not do a noise analysis on any existing roadway segments, but if we're doing a expansion and we're getting closer to the receptors of the noise, which would be the communities around there, then we, by our policy and by the standards of the federal government, we would do a noise analysis to determine if the noise abatement would be required. So again, there'll be a public comment on that.
Okay, I don't see any other questions coming through the chat box. Just as a reminder to attendees, if you have any comments or questions, there is a chat function on the lower right-hand screen, or if you're using our mobile app, there should be a chat function option. It looks like a little question box. You can communicate with me through that way so I can unmute your line. But Jerome, I'm not seeing any right now.
Okay, one more time, any other questions from the commissioners for Tim?
I'll just add my thanks, Tim. Thanks for that really robust overview, and also thanks for acknowledging your staff and all they do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alec.
Thank you, Tim. Very interesting. I appreciated the presentation. No question about it. You have a business district, or a busy district, and a lot of activity. With that said, I think we will move on to the public input. The format has changed. Sarah, if it would be okay if I could impose on you just exactly how you would like the input handled. I would like to remind everyone that is on the meeting today that public input is very important. The commissioners and the department truly do take the suggestions, questions seriously, and so we want to continue to encourage you to feed us back your input. With that said, Sarah, I'm going to turn it over to you to handle how you would like the meeting to go from here on the public input.
Absolutely. Before we get into public input, we did receive 2 letters for the Highway Commission. One was addressed to Commissioner Wolford. He's already addressed it, but he just wanted me to mention that there was a letter received from the Kearney Whitewater Association regarding recreational access. He had spoke with the DOT and the association. He said there's no further action needed, but he wanted me to add that to the record. The second letter we received, I was asked to read into the record. It's from the city of Blair, from Richard Hansen, the mayor, regarding transportation needs for Blair and Washington County. On behalf of the citizens of Blair and Washington County, we thank you for the opportunity to present to the Nebraska State Highway Commission and the Nebraska Department of Transportation our list of highway needs in Blair and County and Washington County. We appreciate the good work relationship we have had with the Department of Transportation and the District 2 office. We look forward to continuing that good relationship in the future. The city of Blair and Washington County are committed to working with the Nebraska Highway Commission and the DOT to ensure that Blair and Washington County continues to have a highway system that protects public health and safety, while also enhancing economic opportunities throughout Blair and Washington County and eastern Nebraska. Blair and Washington County are willing to provide assistance in any way possible to the DOT for increases in federal and state funding for future road projects. Roads are a major infrastructure necessary to move people and goods and are the primary driving force for economic development. Further, it is absolutely necessary for public safety to have a quality road system. One area of concern for Blair and Washington County is the time federal aid projects take to achieve environmental clearances. We would ask that the Department of Transportation do what is necessary to improve the time it takes for the environmental reviews. The priority list we present today is significant and measured. We urge your support for these projects that we believe are vital for public health and safety and economic growth in Blair and Washington County. They did provide a list. I'm not going to go through all the details, but I'm going to mention the project names. The Blair South Bypass, which is Highway 30 and 75 bypass in Blair. The Blair North Bypass on Highway 75 and 30 as well. Highway 30 widening to 4 lanes, divided highway from Blair to Fremont. Highway 75 preliminary engineering study for future widening. Highway 31 to 4-lane divided highway from Highway 30 west of Kennard to Elkhorn. And last, Highway 30 widening to 4-lane divided highway from Blair to Fremont. As Commissioner Fagerlund mentioned, we are in the public input section. So if you do have a comment or you do wish to speak on the record, please notify me. There should be an icon like I mentioned. I do have one. It looks like Graham Construction. So I'm going to unmute you. If you could, please state your name and spell it out for the record. Can you hear us?
Dave Rexon, Graham Construction.
Okay, go.
REXIN. Tim, you mentioned, we were part of the design build process on the Scribner to West Point project. You mentioned 3 of those are scheduled to let. Which phase or which segment might not let this spring, and when do you see that one maybe being let?
I'll answer that, and then maybe somebody else will jump in on that. The first segment around Scribner North and South will not be let this spring. We're still working through the environmental process, but we're hoping to let that sometime in the near future, whether it's this year or next year. But we're hoping to still proceed with that and get that one also let. But so we're starting north of Scribner, where we're back on existing alignment. From there all the way through West Point, or not? No, I said North Bend. I apologize. So it's from north of Scribner, where we're back on alignment, and all the way through West Point. Those 3 northern projects.
Okay, so the 91 interchange, give or take a mile or so going north, is the location.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, next I think I have Michael Helgerson. Michael, can you hear us?
Yep, sure can.
All right, go ahead.
Well, hello, I'm Mike Helgerson, and I'm Transportation and Data Manager with the Metropolitan Area Planning Agency. And it's common when we do this District 2 hearing for MAPA to just make some brief comments about our role in the transportation planning process. First and foremost, we'd like to welcome Director Selmer. I know that our Executive Director, Greg Yule, worked closely with the district over there in Council Bluffs, and as well as Paul Mullen, our former director, who spoke very highly of John during his time there as well. Just building off of some of the comments that in Tim's presentation, MAPA was a partner with the Nebraska Department of Transportation on the Metro Travel Improvement Study, which has laid out kind of the short and long-term priorities, and we're excited to see the implementation of that program here in the District 2 presentation today, and also are happy to include that in our most recent 2050 Long-Range Transportation Plan, an effort that we wrapped up last year that really built on the Metro Travel Improvement Study and laid out a framework for both state and local investment long-term in the region. One thing that Commissioner Gorinsky mentioned is really that planning effort has been really enhanced by our partnership with the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce through an effort called Connect Go, and has really reshaped many of our goals in a way that we see reflected in some of the 2040 Long-Range Transportation Plan goals as well. One being the importance of the transportation system to access to opportunity for people throughout the region and the state, an important role that transportation plays in talent attraction and retention, supporting economic growth, and also ensuring that all of our transportation investments are made through a lens of system preservation and stewardship, something we know that's central to the process of the state planning process as well. Overall, we just like to really let the commission know just how thankful we are for the work of the NDOT staff, whether that's District 2 and our partnership with them on many of our meetings and coordination through things like traffic incident management, the strategic planning team who really supports a lot of our MAPA planning work, and then also local projects and all the staff there that help us move our communities and members projects along as well. One thing that MAP has talked to this commission about in the past is our regional apportionment balance. We have in the past had a very large and substantial balance, and we worked really closely with Khalil and Amy to spend that down. And we're actually through the flexibility that NDOT provided us to adjust our program and kind of make changes each year with our TIP and the STIP. We were able to spend that down and have actually gotten down to kind of year-to-year funding, which is a tremendous accomplishment. We couldn't have done it without the support of NDOT. And just we look forward to continued opportunities to improve the project delivery process in coordination with NDOT and those staff. So that's really just some brief comments I wanted to make to the commission. Welcome to District 2 in this virtual setting. And thanks for the opportunity to provide some comments.
Thank you, Michael. We do have one more. I'm not sure which one. It's all by phone. So I'm going to unmute the cell phone users, and Rebecca Patlin wants to make a comment. Hold on one moment. Bear with me. Okay, Rebecca, can you hear us? Yeah. Having sound issues. I don't think we're going to find her. Rebecca, if you want to send me your comments, I can read them in as well. Or I can pass them on to the commission. Does anybody else care to make a comment this morning? Mr. Fagerlund, I'm not seeing any more.
I'd like to thank everyone that participated in the public input this morning. As I said earlier, and Sarah's emphasized, it's very important that we do receive your input. We will just go one more minute here in the event that there is someone that still would like to have an opportunity to speak. So we'll sit in a few seconds of silence. Sarah, you're not seeing any activity? Okay, I think we'll move on. I'd like to thank everyone for attending the meeting. Tim, I appreciate the presentation that you've given. It's possibly going to, the presentation probably projects are going to outlive my lifespan, but it's always interesting to know where we're going to go here. So thank you. With that, Sarah, could you read the public meetings, please?
Yes, our next Highway Commission meeting is scheduled for May 21st at 8:30 a.m. That will be at NDOT headquarters in the auditorium, and we are fingers crossed in person. And the address for that is 1500 Highway 2. If you have any questions about that, you can contact me, but that is all I have for you.
Okay. With that said, we are to the end of the meeting. Once again, I'd like to welcome John to the organization. We're excited to work with you. And with that, I'll request a motion to adjourn.
Jerome, this is Jim. I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Sarah, I believe the meeting's adjourned.
Thank you all. Have a good weekend.
Sarah?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Yes.